Hi friends, it's been a long time, I'll talk about it later, but I'm back. I made some boba lava cakes recently, which look pretty good by the end considering a lot of the stuff in between looks like some kind of poo. But anyway, we'll make the milk tea first. So in a pot, pour some milk and some loose leaf black tea, stir it up and heat it until it is boiling like this. Then take it off the heat, cover it up and let it steep while we make the boba. Get some tapioca starch and some cocoa powder. Mix it up really well until it is combined. Then in a pot, we're going to put some sugar, some water, a bit of tapioca starch. Put the heat up and keep mixing it until it is completely combined. You don't want any lumps there. Keep stirring it until it starts getting goopy, like this. Then turn the heat off and we'll add the flour mixture. Stir it until it is combined-ish, then turn it out onto your work surface and knead it until it comes together. If it's still too dry, add more water like you see me doing here. If it's too wet, then just add more tapioca starch. The dough itself should be soft enough that you can gently mold it into a little ball, but it should actually be more on the stiff side so that it holds its shape when you're boiling it later. Don't forget to wrap it in cling wrap so it doesn't dry out. Now strain the milk tea through a sieve and remember to squish the remaining tea leaves to get all the tea you can get. Now onto the cake part. Separate the yolks from 3 eggs and put them in a bowl. Then put the egg whites in a separate bowl. This is how I like to separate eggs, but if you want to do it with the shell, that's fine too. To the egg yolk bowl, add milk tea and vegetable oil and whip that up until it is entirely combined. Add some cake flour and loose leaf black tea and stir it up until it is combined. To the bowl with your egg whites, add a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon juice and have a bowl of 65 grams of sugar ready. Start whipping it up until it's foamy, then add half of that sugar. Whip it up again until it gets even more foamy with smaller bubbles, and add the remaining sugar. Then whip it up again until it reaches soft peaks. When I say soft peaks, I mean that when you lift the mixer, the egg whites should stand but the tips droop over. Add about 1/4 of the egg white mixture to your egg yolk mixture and mix that up until the egg yolk mixture becomes more liquid. Then add the egg yolk mixture back into the whipped egg white mixture and fold it gently with a spatula until it is well combined. Be careful not to do this too forcefully or you'll deflate all the air bubbles that you've whipped into that egg white. Which I think I did here, so don't be like me. Then add your batter to little muffin cups if you want little cakes, or add it to a big pan if you want a big cake. Bake it at 160 degrees Celsius until a skewer inserted comes out clean. Now we're going to make a custard for the lava cream. To a pot, add 1 egg yolk, some brown sugar, the rest of the milk tea that we made, and some cornstarch. Mix that up until combined, and then heat it over low heat until it starts getting goopy and custardy, like this. Once it's smooth and ready, put it in a bowl and cover it with cling wrap and put that in the fridge for 30 minutes. Now back to the boba. Take your dough out of the cling wrap and cut it into 4 or 8 segments or so. With the pieces that you're not using, cover that with cling wrap so that it doesn't dry out. Then with the piece that you are working on, roll that gently out into a rope and cut them into little segments. The size of each segment will be the size of the boba. You can decide how big you want that to be. Roll them gently into little balls or pearls, and when you're done with those, put them in a pan with a bit of tapioca starch and roll it around so that each ball is coated with that starch and they don't stick to each other. This does take a long time. I spent about 3 hours making these, so if you don't have the time, go buy some. Cook the pearls in boiling water for about 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes, take it off the heat and leave it covered for about another 30 minutes to ensure that it properly cooks through. When the pearls are done, take them out, strain them through a sieve, and add a bit of sugar into them. They should look like this. Here are the cakes, by the way. I didn't forget about these. I don't think mine were perfect. You can see they're a little bit cracked on the top, and it's sunken maybe a little bit, but for the most part, it's alright. To make the lava cream, hand whip some thickened cream until it gets thick like this, not too thick. Then add the custard that's been in the fridge to your whipping cream and whip it up until it reaches the consistency that you want. For me, I wanted it to be still quite light and fluffy, but able to droop over so it has that, I don't know, lava effect, I guess. I didn't have that fancy plastic thing to hold the cream in before I let it fall, but I just put the cream on and then I put the boba on and then I just let it fall. So I haven't uploaded in a while because things have been busy. We've moved houses and I have needed to get back on top of my study, which I've really only done recently. I've also been working on a new way to do my videos that you can tell from this voiceover. But yes, that's what's been happening. Otherwise, my life is pretty mundane and alright. I hope you're all doing